Let me take you back to 2015. A video editor named Marcus sits in a dark room in Los Angeles. 3 monitors. Empty coffee cups. He's been at this for 9 hours straight. The client wants the cut by morning. The footage is 6 hours long. The final video needs to be 4 minutes. He scrubs. He cuts. He watches the same 10 seconds 40 times trying to decide if a pause feels right. His eyes burn. His back aches. And somewhere around 3 a.m., he asks himself the question every editor has asked at some point: there has to be a better way. There wasn't. Not then. But today, that same project would take Marcus maybe 2 hours. Not because Marcus got faster. Not because he got better. But because something changed in the world of video production so quietly, so quickly, that most people outside the industry didn't even notice it happening. Artificial intelligence moved into the editing room. And it brought its own chair. Welcome to the Invisible Editor. I'm going to take you through one of the most fascinating technological revolutions happening right now, not in a laboratory, not in a boardroom, but in the creative spaces where filmmakers, YouTubers, documentarians, and storytellers do their work every single day. This is a story about technology. But more than that, it's a story about creativity. About what it means to make something. About what happens when the tools we use start to think for themselves. And about the very human question sitting underneath all of it: if a machine can do what I do, then what exactly am I? Let's start at the beginning. Video editing, at its core, is a decision-making process. Every single cut is a choice. You're choosing what the audience sees, when they see it, how long they stay with one image before you pull them to the next. You're controlling attention, emotion, and understanding all through the sequence of images and sounds you assemble. That's an enormous amount of power. And historically, it's been entirely in human hands. There's a version of this story that gets told a lot. The version where AI is coming for creative jobs. Where the machines are going to replace the editors, the writers, the designers. Where creativity itself is being automated. I want to tell you something. That story is both true and completely wrong at the same time. It is true that AI is automating significant portions of what video editors have historically been paid to do. The transcription, the rough cut, the audio cleanup, the caption generation, these tasks, which used to represent hours of skilled labor, are now being done in minutes by software. Anyone who tells you otherwise is not paying attention. But here is what that story gets wrong. It confuses the task with the craft. It confuses the mechanical with the meaningful. It assumes that because AI can do the parts, it can do the whole. And that assumption is incorrect. Let me give you an analogy. When GPS navigation became ubiquitous, people thought it would make taxi drivers replaceable. And in terms of knowing routes, yes, GPS eliminated a skill experienced drivers had. London cab drivers spent years developing the knowledge, a complete mental map of every street in the city. GPS made that specific knowledge unnecessary. But it didn't make driving unnecessary. It didn't make judgment unnecessary. The ability to handle unexpected situations, to communicate with passengers, to navigate when the GPS is wrong or the road is closed. What GPS did was remove one layer of the job, the memorization layer, and reveal more clearly what was underneath. The human layer. AI editing tools are doing the same thing. They're removing the mechanical layer, the tedious, repetitive labor, and revealing more clearly what was always underneath. The storytelling layer. The judgment layer. The taste layer. And that layer is actually more valuable than the mechanical layer was. It's harder to develop. It's harder to fake. It's what clients actually care about when they. Every revolution has casualties. And the AI revolution in video editing is no different. I want to spend this chapter talking honestly about the people for whom AI has not been a liberation. The editors who have lost work. The workflows disrupted beyond recovery. The parts of the industry genuinely contracting because of what AI can now do. Let me start with caption work. For years, a significant cottage industry existed around subtitle and caption generation. Transcribers and caption editors who could produce accurate, formatted captions were in steady demand. It wasn't glamorous. But it was consistent, could be done remotely, and provided reliable income, often for people with disabilities that made traditional in-person work difficult, often for people in lower-cost regions who could earn a living wage doing this work. AI automatic captioning destroyed that market. Not damaged it. Destroyed it. The accuracy of tools like Whisper and the built-in transcription in Descript got good enough, fast enough, that the economics stopped making sense. A client who used to pay a human captioner 3 hours of work on a 1-hour video can now get 95% accuracy in 4 minutes for essentially free. I spoke to a woman named Diana who spent 7 years building a freelance captioning business. Regular clients. Reliable income. A professional identity built around a specific skill she developed and refined over years. Between 2022 and 2024, her client list dropped by 60%. Not because her work got worse. Not because she missed deadlines. But because the tools got good enough that her clients didn't need her anymore. She told me the worst part wasn't losing the income, though that was very bad. The worst part was that I had built something real. I had expertise. I had relationships. And then, in about 18 months, that skill became essentially worthless. Not less valuable. Worthless. That's a very strange thing to experience. Diana is in a retraining program now. We've come a long way in this conversation. We started in a dark editing suite in 2015. We went inside the machine to understand how AI actually processes video. We met the editors who are thriving and the ones for whom the transition has been genuinely painful. And now, in this final chapter, I want to look forward. Not to predict the future with false confidence, but to think carefully about the directions things are moving, and what they might mean for everyone who makes and watches video. The AI editing tools available today are impressive but specific. They're good at defined tasks, transcription, scene detection, audio cleanup, highlight extraction. They understand video at a surface level. What's in a frame? Who's speaking? What words were said? What they can't do yet is understand a video at a narrative level. They can't read subtext. They can't understand that a piece of footage needs to be placed here, in this specific position, because of something that happened 20 minutes earlier that creates a resonance the audience will feel without knowing why. They can't make the structural, architectural decisions that shape a great documentary or a powerful short film. But the trajectory is unmistakable. The models are getting multimodal, processing text, audio, and video simultaneously. The context windows are growing, meaning AI can hold more of a project in its attention at once. The interfaces are evolving from black boxes towards something more like collaboration, where you tell the AI what you're trying to achieve emotionally and structurally, and it uses that direction to make smarter suggestions. That's not a finished product. That's a direction of travel. And it raises a question that I think is one of the most important in this space, and one that most conversations about AI in video avoid. The question of authenticity. We are entering a period where the distinction between real and generated video is becoming increasingly difficult to make. If you like the video, please subscribe.